Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Supersnowolf, and welcome back to another episode of LEGO Arts. In the last episode, we did a showcase on the big Darkseid figure, as well as the remake Thanos figure. And this episode, we are doing another remake, which is Roxas from the Kingdom Hearts series. So here we got both the Twilight Town version of Roxas and the hooded Organization 13 Roxas. Now, these figures, I was really excited to get around to redoing, especially after seeing like one of the latest mods that's been going around in the KH community called Project Nobody May Cry. I've seen gameplay videos of it, and it looks super cool, and it gave me the inspirations to really take a look back at my previous figures and see if I could work on some improvements of it. If you recall, when I did the KH3 project, I did some slight modifications to this figure, mostly with the legs, and kind of redid the hooded Roxas. But now looking back at those again, I realized that I could really improve on it more, especially for my hooded Roxas, and especially since I had gotten these Keyblade modes, which I'll talk more about them later on in the video. I figured out with some new skills that I've learned, and since it's been a long time since I touched those figures, I figured we could go ahead, go back, give them a try at them, and really see the results. And I'm really proud with how these turned out, especially the hooded Roxas, which we will get to in a bit. So, as you guys know the drill, we're going to take these minifigures one at a time to review them, explain the process, why we're with this route, and go from there. So without further ado, let's get the pistol out and get the showcase on the road. Alright, now to start off our showcase, here we have the Twilight Town version of Roxas. Now this one had the least amount of changes, just like with KH3, as some of the most modifications that I did was painting on the arms, hands, and legs, and a little bit on the torso. The torso is still the same decal that I've had for a really long time, but I decided to paint up like the red lapels to really make it more pop out, and was careful enough with it to keep up with the detailing it. You can kind of see there. So it still looked pretty good. Now I mostly repainted like on the sides of the arms, mostly with here and here. I probably could have just repainted the entire thing, but I did like how the decal came out, so I just kept it on as it was. I gave him a new pair of hands, as the old ones were pretty old, and the paint kept chipping off. With these ones, they start out as plain flesh-based colored hands, and just added in the white and black to represent his rings. And I even continued on the checkered bracelet. It's on the side, like you can see. It continues on, and the sides have also been sanded down a little bit, while still making sure that I wouldn't damage up the decal a bit. And on the back of the decal, you can see that the paint continues on, and he's on from the lapels down here and to the back. The legs have been given a new update as well. And as well as now this time I added in a little bit more detailing on the shoes. Not too much since it's pretty tiny, but I decided to add in a couple of details here and there. And then finally, here we have like one of the main parts, the new Keyblades, the new 2 Become 1 Keyblade, which looks really cool. I bought this ages ago over on Etsy on Chopaco, where they did some Keyblade, some custom 3D printed Lego Keyblades with this one, the Kingdom Key, Oathkeeper and Oblivion, and Terra's Ends of the Earth Keyblade, and they look so well done. They only have those Keyblades, but they looked really cool, and I bought a few of those and had just kept them in a storage bin, waiting for a time to like go and paint those up and give them some detailing for a Kingdom Hearts project. And I gotta say, this turned out really well done. I really like the paintwork that I put into this, especially with some of the minor stuff like with the hilt, and you can see like the little spikes. And the spikes are individually painted on. The only thing that I know for a fact has been chipped away was the handle, and that's always been a given. It's been a given since the figure is gripping onto the blade handle. But at the end of the day, I just really love this. I think it looks so cool, and I always liked seeing Roxas with the 2 Become 1 Keyblade. I thought it was a really cool Keyblade for him to wield, and a little bit disappointed that he only really wields the blade and 350 over 2 days on the game when you unlock this. But otherwise, I think this would have been like, if he didn't dual wield Oathkeeper and Oblivion, I could kind of see him having this Keyblade as like his primary. As sort of like, I guess like a mirrored comparison with Sora, since he was the only one with the Kingdom Key. And this one, I feel like it would be a perfect representation of his light and dark in general. And overall, I really love and I like this new improved version of Roxas. I remember doing some touch-ups on the legs when I did the KH3 project, but I really like that now this time that I really went back and really made an improvement on this figure, which is so much better. And last up here we have the Organization 13 hooded Roxas minifigure. Now this one I especially wanted to remake, as with the other one one. At the time, it was good, but now I realized I could have done so much more and wanted to improve it so much. Now, with this figure, I went on a whole new approach for him, as I completely redid it with a new base body and legs and everything for the figure. Painted him up in black and added in some additional detailing. One of the stuff that I really wanted to redo was the hood. I do remember remaking the hood, making the hood from a previous episode. I can't remember if it was the KH3 or from an episode before that, but I remember I wanted to redo the hood entirely, and so I basically just took the hood, pretty much almost destroyed it, and just basically resculpted it because I liked the shape of it, especially from the sides and the back, but the front definitely needed some upgrades, so I got rid of as much as I could and sculpted on into something much more accurate to how it is in the game, which looks really, really good. I decided to add another approach and add in some more detailing this time, as usually in the past I would just do paint it on with the most detailing I would do was just do the silver zipper as well as like little chains on the front, but I decided to step it up a little bit with, additionally from the silver zipper and the chains, we now have like some dark gray to represent on some of the detailing that the coats actually have. Like you can see we can see the pockets, the lines on the sides of the zipper, and on the front, the lines continuing on the hood and going all the way on the back, and a little bit on the back as well. And the hood, especially, it had some alternative upgrades, as underneath you can see that it's a blank black head, and just like how the original was, and it painted on with the silver chains and zipper. But this time, if we remove the head, you can see that underneath it represents on what the code is like when it's slightly unzipped, when the nobodies aren't wearing their hoods up, and this way we can put on Roxas's head. Now, before we do that, some other modifications I did was on the top here. We'll go ahead and focus on that. You can see that I added in some micro magnets this time, as I wanted to give an idea on him having his hood down. So after purchasing this hood piece and nearly destroying it, I was able to add on like the hood like when it's down, so that way we can get a clear image to have Roxas's head. So when he's not wearing, so if I wanted to display this figure without the hood, we can put this on here, and this is him without the hood up, and I think it turned out pretty good. I nearly destroyed both the hood and the figure on doing this, so this is definitely a process that I would recommend practicing it on like a test figure first before attempting it on something like this. And also, I would also recommend on leaving the arms out as extra good measure to make sure that you don't accidentally destroy them. And finally, taking a look at the keyblades themselves. These looked really, really cool. I really like the detailing that was put into these, especially since the keyblades that I made beforehand, I made them gigantic and really big. But these ones, I like that they're smaller and they still retain the overall general design that each of them have. They don't have the keychains, but I feel like that would be a good thing to like remove from the figure, from the weapons themselves, as those things would be a pain in the ass to try and 3D print out. But I loved how they managed to get all the detailing onto each of the blades. They look really, really cool, and also there's some articulation with them, so we can position him to do sort of like cool poses and whatnot. And the paintwork that went into it was pretty good as well. Mostly just did like the base paints. I did a lot of metallics, mostly with the Oblivion, and I also added in the gold and said the metallic purple for Oathkeeper, and I watered down some Ocean Breeze on the sides on Oathkeeper's handle, and I think this turned out really, really good. I'm super happy with how this figure turned out, and I feel that like this is definitely like the definitive custom Roxas that I have for my collection. So that's gonna do it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a really fun project to do for me. Like, I often don't go back on some of these stuff, but whenever I do, it's always fun to try and see what more I can improve on them, and take what worked back then and try to add more into it. Like I keep saying how with Twilight Roxas, I was pretty satisfied with the overall base of the figure, mostly with the torso and everything, but I definitely wanted to improve on it and make some changes to him, so I'm really glad I did. And Organization 13 Roxas was definitely a figure that I really wanted to improve on, especially with adding more details to the coat and really making it more like an actual figure instead of like just something that could have been easily done here and there. I like on adding in more detailing to make it more unique and complex. So it was really fun to go back and actually add on to the figure, and overall it was really, really fun to do. I'm about to do. And with Kingdom Hearts figures in general, I'm still pretty happy with how the XIII project turned out. Or not, so I don't think I really have to go back and redo some of those figures. Some figures that I wouldn't mind redoing is the Birth by Sleep gang would be something to touch on, and maybe the rest of Organization 13. I haven't fully decided on those yet, but if I do go back and do those, I would definitely want to improve more on the coats, and definitely fix up with how I approach with Terra and Aqua, and especially with Venus with his helmet form. I wasn't too happy with how those turned out now, so those would definitely be stuff to try out for the future. I'm sure. In the meantime, I have at least like one other figure finished up. It's something Batman related that I can go ahead and do a showcase for that. I've been making a lot more progress on the Spider-Man 2 project. I only have one more figure to get started on, so I'm really glad for that. And with Power Rangers Dino Thunder, I keep bringing it up that they're almost finished. I keep waiting for just one piece left from Input Brick that I honestly have no idea like when it's going to be shipped. So I might have to substitute with a couple of different parts until then. But in general, those figures are done and they'll be ready to go for a showcase soon. For now, that is going to be it. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and go back to playing some Final Fantasy VII. I did see that the demo for 7 Rebirth came out, so expect a video on that in the future. And overall, that's gonna be it. So if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications. You know us, welcome like this, like products, and have some fun. Also, if you're interested in purchasing the Keyblades, I'll include a link to the page in the description below. Go check them out because they did a phenomenal job. And overall, that's gonna be it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below, share to your friends, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Twitch. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time in the next video. Goodbye!